Like and subscribe might be a simple click for you, but it will lead to a transformational change of our channel. Support us to achieve 5 million subscribers by year 2028. Laura is a wealthy young woman whose father owns a large corporation. She enjoyed a joyful childhood, but everything changed when her mother passed away. Her grieving father began traveling the globe, seeking ways to revive her mother. However, during an expedition in Japan, her father vanished. Despite searching for 2 years, the Japanese police couldn't locate him and eventually had to cease their efforts. Laura, unwilling to accept her father's presumed death, decided to leave home and became a delivery girl. In her free time, she enjoys boxing. On a particular day, Laura participated in a bicycle race to win $600. However, during the race, she accidentally collided with a police car and was taken to the police station for throwing paint on the vehicle. Upon hearing the news, Anna, one of her father's assistants, quickly came to her aid. She advised Laura to return home and take over the company, warning her that if she didn't, her father's entire estate would be auctioned off, including his cherished property. To preserve her father's legacy, Laura reluctantly agreed. All she needed to do was sign the death certificate for her father to inherit hundreds of millions of dollars. But then, the lawyer presented her with a puzzle box, explaining that it had been left by her father. Laura immediately set down the pen and opened the box, discovering a key and a note inside. The note contained a message, a letter from my end. Understanding something significant, Laura refused to sign the document. Instead, she went to the mausoleum on her family's estate. After pressing her father's initials on the mausoleum, a keyhole appeared. Laura inserted the key from the box, revealing a hidden door. This led her to her father's secret workshop. Laura turned on a video camera and watched a recording. In the video, her father asked Laura to destroy all his research on Himiko. Now, who is Himiko? According to legend, she was the first queen of Japan, known for wielding dark magic that could cause death with a mere touch. To stop her from spreading evil, a powerful general sealed her away on a remote island. It turns out that Laura's father disappeared while searching for Himiko. Instead of destroying the research, Laura carefully examined it and discovered that her father had located the island where Himiko was entombed, called Yamatai. He had been guided there by a man from Hong Kong named Lu Ren. Without hesitation, Laura hurried to Hong Kong but found that Lu Ren had also disappeared. She only managed to find Lu Ren's son, who shared the same name. Learning that he had an old, broken boat, Laura spent all her savings and persuaded him to take her to the island. Despite knowing the danger, Lu Ren, who was in dire need of money and eager to find his own father, agreed. They set sail at once. During the journey, Laura continued studying her father's notes and discovered that an organization known as the Trinity was also searching for Himiko's tomb, likely intending to use her as a weapon. Soon, they arrived near Yamatai, but a fierce storm hit. In the chaos, their boat was wrecked, forcing Laura to dive into the sea. She swam to the shore, where she encountered a group of mysterious figures. Before she could react, a man struck Laura unconscious. When she regained consciousness, a man named Vogel stood nearby. He is a mercenary working for the Holy Trinity Group and has been stationed on the island for 7 years, solely to unearth the grave. The Holy Trinity Group promised to let him return home once the grave is discovered. Laura searched for her father's notebook, but unfortunately, Vogel had already obtained it, which contained the grave's location. During their conversation, Laura also learned that Vogel had killed her father. Although filled with anger, Laura knew she couldn't seek revenge in her current situation. As Laura stepped outside, she saw a group of mercenaries enslaving laborers and forcing them to dig up the graves. These laborers were refugees, and Laura joined their ranks, eventually spotting Lu Ren among them. Since Vogel knew the exact location of the grave, he led the group up a dangerous mountain peak to begin work. During this time, a laborer collapsed from illness, and Vogel, revealing his cruel nature, shot him without hesitation. Unable to endure the torment any longer, Lu Ren attacked a mercenary and attempted to flee, but Vogel shot him in the shoulder, causing him to fall. Laura, however, managed to escape to a cliffside. She tried to cross to the other side by running across a tree trunk, but she lost her balance while dodging a bullet and fell into a raging river. The river ended in a cliff, and if she fell, it would likely be fatal. Fortunately, at the last moment, Laura grabbed onto the wing of an abandoned plane and pulled herself inside. But then, the plane lost balance and began to fall, hanging precariously in midair. As the plane started to disintegrate, Laura quickly grabbed a parachute and jumped, eventually landing in the forest. During this near-death experience, Laura was pierced in the abdomen by a tree branch. Despite the pain, she managed to pull the branch out. Later that night, a mercenary discovered Laura, and they engaged in a brutal fight. Using her combat skills, Laura finally subdued the mercenary, drowning him in a muddy puddle. At that moment, a homeless man appeared nearby, leading Laura to a cave on the cliff. Upon entering, Laura was shocked to see that the man was her father, alive but suffering from mental trauma. It took him some time to realize that he wasn't dreaming and that his daughter was actually standing before him. Her father dressed Laura's wounds, and the next day, he explained why he had never returned home. He was the only one who knew the exact location of Himiko's grave and faked his death to prevent the wrong people from discovering it. When Laura informed him that Vogel now possessed the notebook, he was furious with her for not destroying the information. Laura, on the other hand, thought it wasn't a big deal, as it was just a grave, leading to a heated argument between the two. Laura suggested they escape the island since Vogel had a satellite phone they could use to call for help. But her father disagreed, citing Vogel's large number of troops. In frustration, Laura grabbed a bow and arrow and ran toward Vogel's base. Meanwhile, Vogel had already located the grave, but a coded door blocked his entry. Laura seized the opportunity to attack the guards and helped Luren lead the refugees to safety. When the mercenaries discovered what was happening, a battle erupted between the two groups. Laura managed to retrieve the satellite phone, but as she was leaving, her father appeared in front of the coded door. Vogel approached him, forcing him to open the door. Her father refused, and Vogel ordered his men to kill him. In the tense moment, Laura killed a mercenary, and the two sides confronted each other. Laura aimed her arrow at Vogel while Vogel pointed his gun at her father. In the end, Laura conceded and agreed to help Vogel open the door, having figured out the code. After a few turns of the dial, the door finally opened, revealing a deep pit beyond it. The group quickly descended the rope into the pit, which was filled with deadly traps. A mercenary was impaled by a spear, and the group then crossed a cliff littered with bones, using a makeshift ladder. They encountered another trap where the ground began to collapse. In a moment of quick thinking, Laura inserted yellow and blue stones into a keyhole, using a flashlight to produce green light that halted the mechanism. After navigating these dangers, they finally arrived at Himiko's tomb, a towering structure. Passing through the chambers of her servants, they reached Himiko's coffin. Without hesitation, Vogel ordered his men to pry open the lid. Thanks to advanced embalming techniques, Himiko's body was well preserved, but it rapidly decayed after being exposed to air, turning into a pile of bones. Vogel ordered his men to take the remains, but Laura noticed something amiss. The murals on the wall depicted that Himiko had voluntarily come to this place, seemingly sacrificing herself to protect the world. As the mercenaries began moving the body, Himiko suddenly sat up, startling everyone. However, it wasn't a resurrection, just a clever mechanism. Vogel laughed, but at that moment, one of the mercenaries' hands began to rot. Laura realized that the so-called witchcraft was actually a contagious disease, with Himiko as the carrier. Anyone who touched her would mutate and lose their sanity. The infected mercenary soon attacked others, forcing Vogel to shoot him. Realizing that this virus was what the Holy Trinity group sought, Vogel removed a piece of Himiko's finger. Father and daughter quickly launched an attack to stop him. Laura's father shot Vogel in the leg while a mutated soldier pursued Laura. Although her father managed to kill the soldier, he accidentally touched the infected man's head, contracting the virus. He quickly used his belt to tie off his arm, trying to slow the spread of the infection. During her escape, Laura activated a trap, dodging the dangers with her agility, while the mercenary was crushed by a massive wheel. When Laura found her father again, he urged her to stop Vogel, choosing to stay behind and blow up the tomb. Though heartbroken, Laura knew there was no other choice. She tearfully said goodbye to her father. Meanwhile, Vogel reached the iron ladder, but Laura leaped at him, forcing him back, and the two engaged in a fierce battle. As a precaution, Laura knocked the ladder off the cliff. Enraged, Vogel grabbed a weapon to kill Laura. At that moment, her father set off the explosives. Taking advantage of Vogel's distraction, Laura knocked him down and shoved Himiko's infected finger into his mouth. Before Vogel could fully mutate, Laura kicked him off the cliff. As the cave began to collapse, Laura made a desperate leap across the cliff and managed to grab a safety rope. Meanwhile, Lu Ren and the other laborers dug their way out and found Laura. They hijacked the mercenaries' helicopter and escaped from Yamatai Island. Back in England, Laura successfully inherited the company, entrusting its management to Anna. However, while reviewing the assets, Laura discovered that the mercenary company was a subsidiary of her father's corporation. It became clear that the Holy Trinity Group had already infiltrated her father's business. Alarmed by this revelation, Laura rushed back to the family mausoleum, where she found a photograph of a woman among the Holy Trinity documents compiled by her father. Although the photo only showed the back, Laura recognized Anna. It was clear that Anna had orchestrated everything. The story of Laura and Anna was far from over. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our video updates.